tiny indicator stalk. Okay, I'm gonna have a sit in it. Oh, you sink into it. It's like a lounge suite. You know, your favourite chair when you watch Tally at night. And the steering wheel is just as skinny as the indicator stalk. The hazard light. Oh my god, the hazard light's on the top of the steering column. So cool. I can't wait to drive this.
But before I do that, let's take a look at the history of the hatchback. While it wasn't until the 70s when hatches became popular, it was in 1938 when we first saw a rear door on the Citroën Traction Avant, which was basically a tailgate. And in 1966, the first million-selling hatch honour went to the Renault 4, which went on to sell another 7 million. Then in Japan, the 1970 Nissan Fairlady Z, or the Datsun 240Z as we know it in Australia, was the country's first hatch, paving the way for the Civic.
So, what powers this little pocket rocket? Well, it's not really a rocket. It's got a 1.2 litre engine producing 39 kilowatts of power. The new Civic's got 127 kilowatts. But the big difference is the weight. This Civic weighs 680 kilograms. The new Civic is twice as much. That's because it's got so much technology in it.
This car's engine was one of the most economical of its time. It claimed 7.5 litres per 100 kilometres, and while that seems above average in today's torque, the 10th gen 1.5 litre VTEC engine claims 6.1 litres. It's surprising to learn this Civic has front disc brakes and independent suspension front and rear, somewhat of a rare sight on cars of this type for its day.
But did you know the Civic saved Honda's car manufacturing? In the early days, Honda went through a period of low sales and demand and were pretty close to shutting down the whole thing. But in 1973, when an oil crisis hit and fuel costs rose, a lot of people were looking for an economical and cheap-to-run car. And this is when the Civic became an instant hit, which secured the future of the company.
The first-gen Civic was introduced as an affordable economical runabout in 1972, with a price of just over $2,000 when it arrived in Australia the following year. Honda's famous CVCC engine became standard in the second generation in 1979. The third gen became more of a shuttle wagon, the fourth gen a fully independent rear suspension across the range, 1992's fifth gen had more aerodynamic styling, the sixth gen, first natural gas powered Civic, the seventh gen brought the first Civic Hybrid, the sedan and coupe became two separate platforms in the 8th gen, the 9th gen introduced ABS and EBD as standard, which brings us to the current 10th gen released in 2016 with an all-new compact global platform.
Physically, as you would expect, the Civic has changed quite a lot since 1972. 2 extra doors have been added, the wheels have grown quite a lot, and so has the size. The 10th generation Civic is exactly 1 metre longer and 20 centimetres wider than the first gen. This exact Civic was a one-lady car owner and is in magnificent condition. Apart from a respray that Honda have done on the paint, the interior has been untouched. And sure, when you look from the outside, this car is tiny, but once you step inside, it sort of reminds me of the old Mini, just unassumingly spacious. Then there's storage. Actually, this car puts a lot of new cars to shame. Look at the glove box. So much room, and you can put probably 4 or 5 drink bottles in there. In front of this beautifully wood grain centered dashboard, you can put your phone, or quite a few, but if you go around corners a bit too quickly, it'll probably slip around too much. Old-fashioned ashtrays you don't see too often, well, anymore in new cars. You can remove that if you like, and you can put your phone in there. I think Honda were way ahead of their time. Look at this shelf here. Perfectly suited for a mobile phone. So we've established there's quite a bit of room in the front, but what about the back? Let's check it out, shall we? Whoops. Okay. Whoop. Back in my back to sit the roof out. Oh, and I'll move this bit for you here. Yeah, this seat's really spongy. Quite comfortable. Look at this. There's knee room. Oh, and if I fancy a cigarette, there's an ashtray there as well, which I don't even smoke. But, ooh, headroom is getting a little bit tight.